All right, as you know, there are some brush presets included in this series. So let's go take a look at them real quick. You've got a pencil, which is very basic. Charcoal tip is a little bit wider. It also has a little more pressure variability. The narrow charcoal side is kind of a afterthought. Originally, I only had this big wide one, which is great for blocking in big gestural strokes, but I ultimately decided to make a narrower version. They're actually the same brush. The only difference is the amount of flow and the diameter of the brush. And the whole idea of having these presets here is that you're not fussing with things. You're not changing numbers and opening the brush panel. With these handful of tools, you have all the school supplies you need. So you'll also notice that there is a kneaded eraser, which if you've ever used in real life, you know is sort of a soft, gentle eraser that you can pull up pigment as you go, but it doesn't cut all the way down to the paper immediately. But if you do want to cut all the way down to the paper, then you'd use the vinyl eraser, which, as you can see, doesn't take much to completely eradicate what you do. Now, the final tool here is the mixing cloth. Now, this is an interesting one because I decided not to talk about it too much in the series. Instead, we'll be talking more about pencils, charcoal, and eraser. But what the cloth does here is it kind of blends edges together. It softens things down with a little bit of texture, and it blurs out the marks that you've made. Now, this is one of those sort of use it however you feel necessary. The reason I put it in here is because I had a really great life drawing professor back in art school, and one of our required materials was using a rag in addition to our charcoal. So what we used it for in that class was just softening mistakes. So instead of erasing away when we made errors, we just got out the rag and kind of blended things together, and then we'd get out, make new marks on top. So by the end of the day, your drawing had this history built up where you could still see sort of ghosted images of what you had drawn previously. They weren't completely erased away. So whether or not you use it, that's up to you. I'll also mention that it's going to be harder to use on older computers. It's a brush that takes a bit of horsepower to work without lag. And on that note, there's a second copy of these brushes. This is the low fidelity version. They don't have the same texture and they are really designed to be similar, but will run better on older machines. And that set does not include a mixing cloth at all. And finally, I want to talk about how to actually install this .tpl file. If you've never done it before, it's really very simple. So you might have a tool preset window that looks like this. If you like these presets, the first step for you is to save a backup copy. And the way you do that is to go to the settings here, say Save Tool Presets, and then just give it a name and remember where you put that file. But what we're going to do for this course is to replace the current tool presets with the digital sketching.tpl. And what that does here is it just gives you a very short list, and then switching between the tools is very easy. You just click on the one you want to use, and it switches all the settings you need. So you don't need to open the brush menu. You just work right out of this panel. Very cool. So go ahead and install the tool presets, and let's start drawing.